Hello friends on Facebook. My name is Jonathan Sugai, and we're embracing day 2 of Hawaii's stay-at-home mandate. And I'd like to share with you some of my daily stretches that I do for my clients and for myself daily. And these are stretches that, as a massage therapist for the last 20 years, I've been applying in the last couple of years, because we've been told that stretching is great for us, but I didn't practice it until a few years ago because as I was doing my massages, my neck started to get real stiff and sore, and it was starting to bother me. And I thought, how should I address this? I could go get massaged by my family members because it was part of my massage practice, but I thought, let's try stretching again. So then I started to do some research about some stretching, started experimenting. And so what I'm going to share with you today are some of the stretches that I've developed over the years and tweaked and got to test it on my clients. So for those of you who tuned in before, thank you, and thank you for sharing it. And I look forward to continue to do this daily and continue to get to do something while we're embracing the time that we've been giving, because we've been giving a lot of time in order to take care of ourselves. So let's begin. Now the first stretch we're going to do today is, is for our feet. I need to find my tennis ball. So we're going to stretch our feet, and we're going to stretch the plantar fascia in our feet. And this stretch, all we're going to use is a tennis ball. And what we're going to do is you get your tennis ball, and let's do the left foot first. And before I stretch, I'm going to demonstrate how this massaging your feet with the tennis ball makes a difference for the rest of your body. And so the plantar fascia, the connective tissue in your foot, is actually connected through the calf, back of the knee, to the hamstring, and it goes all the way up to the shoulder. And so what I'll do is I'm going to demonstrate, I'm going to show you the length of my arms by touching my toes, and then it's a flexibility check. Okay, so not bad today. I can actually knuckle pretty good, but I do feel some tightness and tension. Okay, so you can see it's even right now. Okay, now after we do the stretch, the massage with the tennis ball on the foot, the length of my arm is going to change. So for today, we're going to do the left arm first. Okay, so I'm going to step on the ball, and you're going to go back and forth, and you're going to really lean in and roll back and forth. Oh, and for those of you with an Apple Watch, you can count this as your yoga. There's a yoga preset. So let me turn that on. And then let me get my timer started. So for all the stretches that we're going to do today, and we're going to do a few, we're going to do them for 1 minute per side. Okay, so you go back and forth, and you want to lean into the tennis ball. And if this is your first time doing it, it's probably going to be a bit sore. You're going to find some trigger points. And those trigger points are where stress and tension have built up in your nervous system, in your sensory side of your nervous system, and in the neuromuscular, neurofascial tissues. Okay, so you're going to go back and forth. You're going to go towards the front, towards the ball of the foot, and to the front of the heel. And you want to feel the ball squeeze. You really want to put your weight into it. Now, the more you do it, it's going to, again, initially hurt, but then as your sensory nerves and your tissues balance and release, it gets better. It smooths out. Okay, a few more seconds. All right, so that's 1 minute, and then so let me demonstrate. Okay, so earlier you could see my hands are even, and now you can see there's my left arm is a little longer. Yeah, you can definitely see it's a lot easier for me to knuckle the ground. But there's a big difference because the tension release in my foot loosened up all the fascia all the way up to my shoulder. So this is a great way to actually, while you're working on your feet, you're also working on your shoulder. And since many of us are now at home and doing stuff virtually online, sitting at our computers and sticking our arms out, a lot of tension is going to build up here and down there. So great way to do that. Now let's see who is joining us. Hi. Oh, hi, Auntie Aline. Hello, Jen. Hey, Joey. Would a stress ball be... Yeah, you could use it, so long as it's not too hard. A tennis ball is the preferred. You could use like a racket ball. But I wouldn't recommend like something really hard like a golf ball to start off with. Hi, Nathan. Thank you for tuning in. Hi, Chris. Okay, let's do the other side. Okay. So again, get my timer started. You're going to step on the ball. You're going to roll back and forth. And you really want to put your weight into it. And again, the tennis ball is preferred because it gives. So if you have a ball that gives, it's squishy, but not too squishy. So tennis ball is like that just right match. Like a baseball would be too hard, golf ball too hard. The hardest one I'd recommend is maybe a ping pong ball. I know that there was another person that had suggested that. I haven't had the chance to try it yet. I'll try it at some point. Maybe I'll order some off of Amazon, although that might be a month. Okay, so you go back and forth, massaging your plantar fascia. Again, going to the ball of your foot to the front of the heel. And again, this is a great way to regulate the stress in your body. Okay, so it actually helps your body to release the stress and tension, which, again, if you're managing your stress, it enhances your immunity. If you're not managing your stress, it impacts your immunity, and that will affect your reaction or response to the coronavirus. So anything you can do to take care of yourself helps your immune system, and again, keeps your immune system strong and helps with immunity. And so let's say you do catch the virus, you either have no symptoms or your symptoms are milder. Based on the studies so far, the patients who have had really acute symptoms or have died had 2 or 3 pre-existing diseases like heart diseases, hypertension, and diabetes. So hypertension is your body is holding on to a lot of tension. So those individuals, if we were to ask them, have you stretched? They probably would say no. And if you stretch, that actually can help your body to release tension. So anything you can do to do that. Okay, so let's try reaching for my toes again. Okay, yeah, we can see it's even, like a knuckle. It feels a lot looser, feels a lot better. All right, so that's our first stretch. It's for the plantar fascia and using the tennis ball. Okay, so now we're going to do our quads. Okay, so we're going to stretch our quads. Now, our quads work very hard for us. They help us walk, they help us go upstairs, downstairs. I have a lot of clients that come in with lower back pain, and one of the major complaints is they have trouble getting out of bed. So it's like when they're lying in bed, they have a hard time getting out of bed, and they blame their back, and they think, oh, my back's, I threw my back out. That's the common language. When they actually come in and I check on them, from working with backs for 20 years, I've learned that the quads, when I touch their quads, it is so acute, so sore that they want to run away, and they really jump. It's surprising, it's shocking to them. And so I've learned when anybody has back pain, and actually one of the first things I love checking is the quads. And so the next thing we're going to stretch is releasing the tension out of the quads, because a lot of the quads are like the second largest muscle in the lower body, and it does a lot of work, and it takes on a lot of tension, doesn't complain. In fact, actually, your back is the messenger that complains, but the quads build up a lot of tension, and we forget about them. They work tirelessly for us until they are unable to. The legs don't work very well anymore. So the quad stretch looks like this, but we're not going to do it standing. We're actually going to do it lying on our sides. Okay. So my preferred way of doing it is to lie down on your side. So I got this couch here, so you can use a bed. You could go up against the wall. Just make sure if you have carpet or have something padded. And what you do is you pull your leg back this way, and you stretch like that. And you're going to feel the tension start to release. So you want to pull your leg back and thrust your pelvis forward. Let me get my timer set. And then what we can also do is also reach as well. If we reach up this way, you're going to feel even more of a stretch because, again, everything's connected through fascia, through the connective tissue. And so we're releasing the tension out of the quads. And while you're doing this, you want to make sure you practice your breathing. Deep breath in and a deep breath out. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Okay. All right. And then after we stretch the quad, when I check my clients, the pain drops by at least 50%, and it goes from feeling like I've been stabbing them with a ice pick, and it feels like just pressure for many clients. And I can tell who's doing their stretches or not. So if a client's not doing their stretches, they come in pretty sore. If they're keeping up with their stretches, it feels just like pressure. So I help hold my clients accountable, and if they're doing their stretches, they get to enjoy their shiatsu. If they don't, well, we end up doing stretching anyway. Okay, so let's do the other side. Okay, pull your leg back. Now, if you find that you're having trouble pulling your leg back because, again, you've lost flexibility over the years, give yourself extra room. So this couch is a little on the narrow side, but you can you just have to position yourself a little farther away from whatever horizontal wall or backing that you're using. And I prefer doing it this way because then we're not straining our arm and we're not straining our leg trying to stand. Might as well take advantage of an inanimate object to hold the stretch. So it allows you to really lean into it. And while you're doing this, you want to lean in and really breathe into the pain and breathe it out. Breathe into the pain and breathe out. While you're doing the stretches, you don't want to run from the pain. You actually want to lean into it. It's like, you got to face your fears, face your problems, deal with them. You try to keep running, you just create more pain because you're not really dealing with it. So breathe in and breathe out. Okay. So that's our quad stretch. And actually, another case where this helps with clients that have lower back pain, if they have trouble bending over, often the quads are so overloaded that this part of their leg isn't going to be able to hold their body up. So their back is actually shutting down to keep them from falling over, or in Pidgin in Hawaii, say huli over. So once we start to get the quads more loose and get the sensory nerves back to normal and the neuromuscular system back to normal, then it's easier for them to bend over. Because again, their legs are holding them up. So the back stiffening up, the back getting, becoming dysfunctional is a feature, not a bug. Your back is actually trying to protect you from you, trying to slow you down, make sure you start to pay attention to the legs. But because we haven't been shipped with a manual, the vast majority of individuals out there don't know what back pain is really about. They think their back is broken, but their back is actually giving them feedback. Again, mind-body connection. Okay, let's see who's joined us. Hi, Connor. Hello, Lisa. Thank you for rejoining. Hi, Lauren. Hi, Karine. Hi, Barbara. Thank you for joining. Okay, so now we're going to do our glutes. Oh, excuse me, not our glutes. We're going to do our hamstring. Okay, so let me turn the camera this way. All right, so for our hamstrings, we're going to be not just stretching the hamstrings, but we're also going to stretch the back of the knee and the calves. We're going to catch all of them at once since they're all connected. And so for this one, make sure I adjust the camera there. We're going to use a wall, okay? So you either want to have a blank wall, or if you don't have a blank wall, you can actually use a door. Excuse me, this wall. It's a little challenging looking in a mirror. Okay, so yeah, so you can use either a blank wall or the door. And if you have carpet, you don't need to use a pad, but since I'm on the floor, I'm using a pad. Or you can use your shoes. You need something to protect your foot. What you do is you put your foot up against the door. You want to have a nice wide and deep stance. You lock your knee, so we're stretching our right leg first. Lock the knee. Make sure you have a nice wide deep stance. The back leg, so my left leg, I'm going to be standing on the ball of my foot, and my knee is going to be slightly bent so that I can lean forward and put my weight forward towards the wall, towards my foot. I'm tilting my pelvis forward. So as I tilt forward, I'm going to feel the stretch go from the calf, the back of the knee, and the hamstring. Okay, then I'm going to put my hands above, and I'm going to push and lean in. And as I push and lean in, I'll feel a real nice stretch going right through my calf, back of the knees, hamstring. Okay, let me reset my timer. Okay, push and lean in. And while I'm leaning in, I'm feeling the stretch through my calf, behind the knee. You want to try to lock the knee as much as you can. So you can see my knee is slightly bent, but I can definitely feel the stretch, so that's fine. Again, we want to lean in and make sure you feel it. You have to bring the tension, bring the stress that is storing in your nervous system, storing in your soft tissues. You want to bring it conscious. And we're going to regulate through it by breathing. Thank you, Lisa, for teaching me about regulation. Breathe in and breathe out. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Okay. All right, that was a minute. Okay, so now I'm gonna use this wall. You can kind of see like from behind what it looks like. And then I do have all of these stretches individually shot online, and I'll put a link in the notes below, so you can, if you want to watch them individually. Okay, so we're going to do my left leg, left foot against the wall, dorsiflex, this knee is locked. And again, you want to make sure you have a nice wide stance, so about that wide, not too wide, but also not too narrow. Okay, and then the back foot, I'm on the ball of my foot with the knee slightly bent. Okay, and I'm going to again lean forward, put my hands above my head and shoulders. Okay, and then I'm going to lean in. I'm going to feel the stretch in my left leg, right? From the calf through the back of the knee and the hamstring. So I'm pushing and leaning. Now with my arms and hands, I'm also pushing into the wall, and that actually starts to stretch my shoulders. It's lifting my scapula, lifting my shoulder blades. So you can kind of get in a bit of a shoulder stretch too to release tension up there as well, while you're also stretching your hamstring, calves, and back of the knees. But we do have a specific shoulder stretch coming up. We'll do that one last. Okay, so you're leaning in, breathing into the tension and pain. Breathing it out. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Okay. And that was a minute. All right. Oh, hi Avery. Oh, hi Herman. Thank you for joining. All right, so that was the hamstring, back of the knee, calf stretch. Now, we're now going to stretch our glutes, because there's probably a lot of sitting going on at home. So let's go back to the couch. Okay, so for our lovely glutes and piriformis, this is great for anybody that has had butt pain in the form of sciatica or piriformis syndrome. This also does help with the back as well, because again, if this starts to get overloaded and shut down, then your back is also going to respond to that. So we can do it, there's two ways of doing it. So the first way is you can actually do it while you're sitting. And you put one leg over the other, cross your leg like so, and what we're going to do is we're going to lean forward. Okay, and you lean forward and just kind of lean in, and you're going to feel, so this is my right leg, you're going to feel it in your glute and near the piriformis. Okay. So we're leaning forward, and you're going to feel the tension and the stress that's been building up in your booty, or in Hawaii we call it the okole. You want to breathe into it and breathe out of it. And then check into your body. If you feel like your body wants to move, so you notice I'm moving my foot, go ahead and move it. Surrender to that. It's a way of regulating. It's often, another way to look at these tension is that stores in your body. It's an unexpressed emotion, it's an unexpressed movement. So it gives your mind and your body a chance to just express what you didn't know how to express, didn't choose to express at the time. And if we're holding on to too much unexpressed emotions, unexpressed tensions, we feel it, it weighs us down, wears us down, compromises our immunity. This is a way to get more centered, more aligned, feel more like ourselves again. Okay. So that's one way of doing it, sitting. Now let me show you the other way. So the other way you can do it is by lying on your back. Again, you put your one leg over the other, you cross them, like so. And then you pull with your legs and pull with your arms towards your chest and your face. And so this is a different way of doing it. So try both. See which one you like better. So let's do this one for a minute. Again, we're breathing in, breathing out. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Again, we're pulling with our legs and pulling with both arms to get a little extra oomph. You do want to feel the pain, because then you can lean into it, breathe into it, and breathe it out. And you're giving yourself an opportunity to regulate yourself, get your nervous system more regulated, get your body more regulated, get your mind more regulated. Okay. Right. Yeah. So if you do it properly and you really give it your all, your butt will feel lighter. Now your butt won't be actually smaller, that's a dietary issue, make sure you're not overeating, but your butt will feel lighter and you'll actually, feel more at ease. Okay, so that was the glute and the piriformis stretch. You can again do it sitting or you can do it lying down. All right, so now we're actually done with the lower body. Those are the greatest hits that I recommend for myself and for my clients. Now we're gonna do the upper body. Now, when I'm working with my massage clients, one of the spots where a lot of tension builds up is right over here. It's actually just behind the armpit, and it's actually near, for those of you anatomy geeks out there, in the rotator cuff region, which is the supraspinatus, the infraspinatus, the teres, and where the lat, they all intersect right in this corner. When I press on it, it's very sharp. So recently I figured out a stretch to release a lot of the tension right here. So let's try it out. So we're going to do my left side first. And it looks like a tricep stretch that you might have done before. But the twist that I'm adding to it, you'll see. Okay, so you bend your elbow, then you grab and pull with your other arm, and then what we're going to do is we're going to lean. Okay, we're going to lean into it. Okay, now let me get my timer set. Okay, so bend the elbow, pull, and we're going to lean in the opposite direction. Make sure you have a nice wide stance. And you're going to lean into it. And you're going to feel a lot of tension in the tricep. Now I feel it in my rear deltoid, right through the rotator cuff. I'm feeling it go down the side of my body towards my hip. Really lean into the stretch. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Just surrender to it. Allow your body to fall into it. Don't fight it. Don't fight it. Surrender to it. Okay. And you may feel it shoot down to your hand. You might feel tingly. That's okay. You're bringing conscious all the tension that has built up in your arm just by holding your arm out, at the computer or with our phones or driving, or doing whatever else we do with our arms. Again, these muscles work very hard for us. So this is an opportunity for them to, to show them some love. Okay, so that was the left side. And then you want to come out of it nice and slow, nice and easy, and kind of shake it off. It is going to feel a little weird, but it'll pass, and your shoulder will feel a lot lighter. Okay, so let's do my right side. Okay, we're going to bend the elbow, and we're going to pull. Let me get my timer restarted. Bend the elbow. Pull and lean to the opposite side. Get a nice wide stance. And you're going to lean into it. Keep bending your elbow to stretch out the tricep. And lean to propagate the stretch down the side of your body. Okay, that's a minute, so now I'll just slowly ease out of that. Now on my right side, I felt more tingly, and that's okay. Again, we're accessing all the tension that builds up on the inside and in the rotator cuff, and we're giving our chance to regulate, to balance the senses, which helps our brain and helps our body and helps with our immunity if we're, again, taking care of ourselves, managing our stress. Okay, so that was the tricep shoulder rotator cuff stretch. Now we're going to do our last stretch for today, and I call it the shoulder scapula lift, and we're going to go back to the wall again. And while I'm doing that, I can say hello to Evan. Hello, Evan. Hello, Estelle. Hi, Liz. Oh, great, Lisa. Thank you for making some time for yourself daily. Hi, Sarah. And Alexander Perez. Hi. Great for you to join. Okay. So now we're going to use the wall again, and I'll be using the door. And actually, I'll do it from both angles so you can see what it looks like from the side and what it looks like from the back. Okay, so for this one, you want to be about arm's length from the door. We're going to put our hands right about face height, eye height, and you're going to push and lean in. Okay, put your hands up, anchor into the door, push and lean in, and then you just let your torso drop. Knees are going to be slightly bent. Push and lean in, and because you're anchored into the door, it's going to, the wall or the door is, it's as if the wall or door is pulling your arms and your shoulders up while your torso is going down, and so it's stretching your arms and pulling your shoulders upwards while your ribs and your torso are going downwards. So it's catching the tension that's underneath the shoulder blades. You're pushing and leaning. Just let your body fall into it, surrender into it. Breathe into the pain and breathe it out. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Okay. So that's about a minute for me. I'm going to do it from this angle so you can see what it looks like from behind, a slightly different angle. Again, putting my hands about face level, eye level. And then I'm about arm's distance away from the wall. Nice wide deep stance. Okay, knees slightly bent. Push and lean in and just let my body fall forward. I'm anchored. The wall is pulling my arms upwards as I lean downwards, and again, it's creating lift in the shoulder blades. So it's helping to lift our shoulder blades, which can get stuck. So we're catching the subscapularis muscle and the fascia all around the subscapularis. So deep breath in, deep breath out. And this is we're releasing the tension on the inside of the shoulder, underneath the shoulder blades, which is what we can't get to manually with our fingers or with our whatever manual instrument we may be using. But we can stretch it, we can do it indirectly. Okay. And so that's the shoulder scapula lift stretch. All right, so just to recap, those were a number of stretches that I do daily and I recommend to my clients. Do a quick review. So first stretch we did today was the tennis ball. And again, we're stretching our foot, our plantar fascia. You go back and forth for a minute per side. Back and forth for a minute per side. Okay. Then we did our quads. So we stretched like this, but we're lying on our side on the couch. Then we did our hamstrings and calves up against the wall like so. Then we did our glutes, stretching like this, leaning forward, sitting down or lying down. And then we did our tricep shoulder stretch, each side 1 minute. And then we did our shoulder scapula lift. Okay, so again, you want to practice those stretches at least a minute per side. You can do them longer if you want, and if you got the time, you might as well take advantage of the time. And again, do it at least 2 to 3 times a day. So this is my first stretch of the day, and I'll do one more later in the afternoon or evening. And you'll find that you'll sleep better and feel better. And again, anything we can do to manage our stress, because again, this is a lot of changes are going on, and stress occurs when we're not adapting. So again, anything we can do to help ourselves to adapt, to get out of that rigid mindset that it only has to be this way. This really helps to open up the mind and the body to alternatives. Gives you resilience and flexibility. So it's something that you can do for yourself. It's really made a difference in my life and for my clients. The ones that are practicing, I can see the difference. We can feel the difference. I joke around that shiatsu helps make the benefit of stretching painfully clear. Of when you do it, you feel great. If you don't do it, we notice it. So it's my gift to you. So please practice. I'd love to hear about how it's working out for you. So please post your results in the notes. I will be continuing to do this daily. So again, tune in around 12:15 Hawaii, 3:15 Pacific, 6:15 Eastern. I am also archiving these on YouTube. So if you want to check them out on YouTube, I'll put a link in the notes below. And then I also do have the stretches individually shot, and they're on my website, and so I'll put them there too as well. So for those of you joining me live, thank you for making some time and joining me for stretches. And I look forward to continuing to stretch with you as we work together on making it through this big challenge that we're all facing. And thank you for joining me. It's been an honor and a privilege, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow for my next stretch. All right. Aloha.